Probably would have all Fendt, only just for the cost.
Patience and anger management classes.
And here, nobody wants to say it, but in the back of my head, I'm thinking, are we going to have a drought and no second cut? My name's Darragh Rutledge, from Upper Ballinderry outside Lisburn. I've been contracting from 2008. I went to Greenmount for a while and drove tractors for a couple of different people, and there was guys asked me would I spread a bit of compost for them, or didn't know anybody with a rear discharge spreader that could spread some compost. So I got my cousin Ian's spreader and I suppose one of my dad's tractors. We've always farmed at home and took off and did a bit of spreading. I suppose I spread for maybe, I don't know, a month or 6 weeks and got enough money gathered up and got a deposit and bought a new spreader. We did a wee bit of slurry for ourselves, and then I suppose customer demand, because farmers have less staff about them, so they want us to do the slurry. So I started off doing tanker work really, and then I suppose we bought a pipe system, and I suppose slurry's now a fair big part of the business too. We're around baling too, and digging work, ploughing, sowing, with 4 diggers from 3 tonne to 14 tonne. We be steady, mostly all agricultural work. We started lifting silage in 2009 with 1 wagon. With 3 wagons now. It's just gradually built up over the years. A friend of mine, David Littleburn, worked for a contractor, and he said, here, boy I'm working for is not going out. I'll give you a few names and sure buy a wagon and go and, you know, do a bit. I called with the customers and like, look, this is the crack, your man's not going out. Would you be interested in me doing it? Got a wagon and went and did a bit, and then just grown steadily from there. Probably for the first 3 or 4 years, it was probably kind of up to 1,000 acres we did between seasons, and then a couple more guys come on. I think it was 2014 I bought the second wagon. 1 wagon was grand. If you were going to a customer at 50, 60 acres, you could go and put him in a day, a long day, and he was happy. But when you had 1 wagon going to somebody 150 acres, sure, knocking about for a week at it, you know. It was not a week, but you know, it was too slow. Then we went to 2 wagons, and with a bit more demand, a few other customers come on looking us to do grass for them. So then we got the 3. So first wagon I bought was a 125 Shootamaker. Ran it for 3 seasons, and then traded it in for a 520, which is a new model, and had plenty of hassle out of it now. Reliability with a lot of breakdowns and issues with the Shootmakers. Although we were lifting like 2 cuts back when we had them, you know, a lot of boys have gone to multi-cuts, so they're cutting 4 or 5 times. And to be fair, the Shootamaker would have suited that better. The big, bulky crops. We had like 220 or 30 horsepower in the Shootamaker, and the tractor was killed just under pressure all the time. And then we went up to like 300 horsepower. And then the Shootamaker, we just started breaking gearboxes and shafts, so there was no real happy medium. If you're in a heavy crop, it was just sore on her. There wasn't enough space and a gap to get the stuff up in there. She was just, whenever you put the power to her, you could lift grass quickly, but she wasn't fit for the power, so then she started just disintegrating. The Pottinger and the Strautmann both seem to be, they're both really good, to be honest. They've both done well. Whenever I went to buy the Strautmann, I was going to buy a Pottinger, but the dealer demoed it at the time, and that 3602 was just wild impressive the way it could lift grass. We were lifting a heavy crop of grass on the day they brought it out. probably that or within the coming days then I had bought the Strautmann. It goes really well. Strautmann's a good machine. Suspension lets them down a wee bit. We've issues with breaking U-bolts and a few issues related to the running gear on it. But other than that, it's been a real super wagon now. It lifts well, chops well. Strautmann or Pottinger in my eyes are the two to have, really.
So how long have you been with Darragh then?
It's my third season anyway.
Full time?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Oh, it's only enough. It's close to home.
Are you a Lisburn man, are you?
Ballinderry. Side door. So it's not too bad. Worked in the dairy farm stuff before, but decided to come into this torture.
Yes.
So
Well, it can't be that torturous. You're still at it after 3 years.
I think it's just a bug.
What kind of bug? Like a butterfly bug or like an old blokey sicky bug?
Depends what day it is.
How long have you been driving this thing then?
It's my second season on this particular wagon anyway. My first year I was here, I was driving, was it a 5000 series one of these here? It was like a prototype. So it was a good wagon like, but you couldn't compare it to this like.
Why, what's the difference?
You can just eat grass.
Why, just bigger pickup really?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. The pickup rider. Because they got them out folding wheels and all, so you have to fold the wheels in every time you come out of the field.
Oh, so now you don't have to get out of the cab at all?
No.
Well then, sharpening the knives, how often are you lifting knives out of her, or is she auto sharpening?
We sharpen themselves, the double-sided knife, so
Oh right, okay.
we just turn them around after every couple of 100 acres.
Is that how many acres a knife would do then?
Aye, well it depends what you're lifting like. This sort of young grass would be a whole lot harder on the knives than the wire stuff, right?
Well, the likes of that bulk there, is that sort of the heavy issues wouldn't be lifting with a wagon, or does it get much heavier?
Oh, it gets much heavier than that there. Oh, aye.
So do you do any driving of the Strautmann at all then, or is that a spence machine?
I've drove it maybe 3 days from when I ever came here. I've always drove Pottinger. Aye, so it's a good wagon, but just this here is a whole lot more simpler if you get on it. Like, your drawbar heights are set. Well, if you like hold the button, whenever you lift the pickup when you're full, she'll go to the road height. You don't really have to touch the drawbar.
Yes.
And then when you come into the field and drop the pickup down, she'll drop the drawbar to the height, lifting height.
Oh, so everything's preset on her?
Yeah.
Then the Strautmann, she must be manual then?
Yeah, she's manual, yeah.
Right, okay. So what you're saying is she's idiot proof?
Yeah,
Right, okay.
basically.
A lot of boys tells me the Strautmann is a better pickup reel, but they prefer the running gear on the Pottinger.
Aye, the Pottinger's running gear is a whole lot better than what the Strautmann is like. But this here pickup's actually hydraulically driven.
Alright.
So whenever you lift the pickup, she stops.
Oh, so she sort of works like a hedge cut. Your PTO runs your hydraulic pump then?
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
It'll gauge, it'll go faster or slower whatever your speed's now.
Oh, right, okay. She's reading your speed then?
Yeah, she reads the speed.
So your pickup reel, the actual the rotations of her vary depending on what your forward speed is too, or is that a constant speed all the time?
That's what that's looking for.
Yes, okay. And then what about your rotor? She's going to match the pickup reel?
She's just go whatever revs you're at like.
Oh, right, okay. I would have thought that whenever your pickup reel and your rotor's tight and all sort of run at the same time, the two of them would nearly have to be in timing with each other.
No, I don't think so. I don't know what way that works to be honest, like, but the pickup reel's a really good job on it, like. I like it.
So would you argue then that's as good as the Strautmann's?
I'd say so, yeah.
So is this your main sort of job then when it comes to grass, or could you just be through anything willy-nilly?
I generally would drive the wagon, but you can do anything you want really. If you want to do something different, there's no problem. Like.
Well, is this your tractor, like, or are you jumping between them?
know it's my tractor.
How many hours in her now?
It's 1800. I got her end of March last year. So, she's went well, so she has. Wouldn't be so keen going from this yoke to John Deere now. No, up there a good enough yoke to drive John Deere, like, but when you're so used to this here and everything's at your hand, you just would never go back, like.
Probably would have all Fendt only just for the cost. We're running 4 Gen 6 718s, a 516, a 6155R, and that 6M180. I always had Masseys, and then with a couple of 6480s and a 7480, and we're having brake issues and having different balla with them, so we decided we'd try a Fendt, and then we ended up running 3 Fendts. Thought they were maybe getting a wee bit pricey. That was back in the kind of 820 era, and they were moving to like 720s and 724s. So this will try a New Holland. So we got a T7235 power command one. Absolutely hated it. Hated the gearbox on it. I didn't keep it long, and then went for a 235 auto command, which was a good tractor. And then I bought a T7200 auto command, which again went well. No big dramas with it. I changed one of the 820 Fendts and bought a 6195R. It gave me a wee bit of bother, and then I changed it for a 6230R. Basically, the New Hollands and the John Deere over the next 3 or 4 years all went for 718 Fendts.
So what way are you filling? You an automatic or manual filling?
Oh, just manual fill. Sure, there's no by the rest of the tractor.
Just when she starts to die back, give the floor a wee...
Yeah, I give the wee nudge. Or if you start, or for instance in this here stuff, you start to see it fall off the side, think you need to fill her down a bit.
Well, what sort of bother does a wagon give, really?
Very minimal, like. If you keep her well greased and everything else, like, she shouldn't really.
Like, would floor change be a big problem on them?
Yes, well, after so long, you'd have to tighten them up, like, or if they stretch too much, you might have to take a link out of them or something, like, but
it's always an adjustment thing, like, you never have, like, a link snap or anything like that.
No. Maybe in the earlier wagons, but this is a different sort of setup, this floor in this here wagon. It's more like a bicycle chain than an actual normal chain.
Okay, right.
The floor speed on it's unbelievable for offloading, like. Should be a lot faster than Strautmann, like. Glad to see that sign down anyway. We're 30 mile an hour zone sign there, and every time we were coming in and out of here. Oh. It's just not that powerful.
You're clearing there now?
Right now.
So is that one of them sort of wee handy things you're talking about, like whenever you start to reverse, she locks the axle straight away?
Oh, yeah. Now whenever I go over 20k on the road, she lock and you can't open it over 20k. Like if you're going down the road and you go around a corner and you're going over 20k around the corner, or if you start to go into the corner, you'll just feed her lock.
Does that not catch you sometimes if you go into a corner at 20k and then she drops below it and then suddenly the axle opens? 19k with an open axle still quick enough with what we end
you just have to take it easy, like.
Yes.
You can take that feature off it, but
you can sort of run whatever way you want to.
Yeah. There's not much on that screen you can do.
Yeah, the Isobus setup on the Pottinger is really good. It's well integrated now. The Strautmann wouldn't just be as... It's dead on, it's alright, but a lot of the automatic functions like auto axle, the axle lock on that over 20, well you can adjust it, a lock over 20k and open itself under 20k, and you can actually set that if she goes over certain degrees on a slope, she'll automatically lock the axle. A lot of nice wee features built in like that, and like automatic unload, so you click auto unload, she opens the door, turns the floor on slow, pushes the headboard back, and then puts the floor into high speed. The wee things like that are nicely sorted out on it.
I farm at home, and I was in Harper Adams University for 4 years, and then I worked in England on a big arable farm in North Yorkshire for 18 months, I suppose. And whenever you farm at home, you can't be running the country and still trying to farm, like it doesn't work. So I don't know, it must be 2 Christmases ago, decided to come home, working away, and then I don't know, just didn't feel like I was doing enough work in the week. Here, we were probably one of Darragh's first customers whenever he started. I just sort of joined him and then never left.
Yeah.
So it works quite well. Works quite well on my behalf. Hopefully he would say the same thing.
So what are your main job roles here?
Do a bit of everything. I'm not going to say no to doing anything. Like, done a right bit of the book wrecking last year. The way I started off, I'm going to do a right bit of it this year again. At least you can take a bit of pride in it. You know, you can finish a silo and you can look at it and say, oh, I done that. You know, sometimes you get fed up bouncing up and down the road in a tractor. It's some of the muppets you meet on the road. Like, I see that wee road over there. For all the size of the road it is, people use it as a rat pad.
What does it take to book ride against 3 wagons?
patience and anger management classes. It's not so bad there. You're all right until the three of them come in together. And sure, you have to get the three of them tipped to get them away back out of the road again. Like.
And then there's ice staggered again.
Yeah. Even if you did stagger them, they'd all just go back to the field and race each other to get a load on. Did you not see the way they were lifting there earlier when you were videoing out in that big field? Like? It's alright, whenever the camera disappeared, he had to go across the field again and pick up the bits that dropped off her.
Did he? Now this pit here would just be just about big enough for the two shovels.
Aye, you wouldn't want it much narrower now, so you wouldn't. Unspoken communication, but he was standing to one side and I'm standing to the other. One of us can take blame for the other one if one side's worse.
Yeah.
No, last year there was no help whenever there was three wagons, and it's actually quite nice there having two. I haven't broke sweat in the brow yet, anyway. Well, last year you were on the compactor for a wee while, but...
What do you think of the compactor? Good job? Or is it annoying as a buck ride driver?
It's a bit of both. If somebody knows what they're doing when they're on it, it is a grand job. But see if you get a muppet there that just sits in your road, it's more aggravating than anything. Like, for me, I want them only really to do the sides, but then you get some boys there that come on and just sit in the middle, and that's no good to you. Like, for them, they are in your road. Whenever there was only one shovel and there was three wagons coming to you, the compactor at least was able to roll it, for I wasn't getting any chance at all, you know, to get back across and to get a tap. No. I don't know, they would need to do tests or something on it to see the actual compaction of it. You know, like, what good is it doing, really? What I did notice was, see, finishing the silo, even with that slightly longer chop, it left the top finish of the silo very, very, very level. While it was just the rings constantly going back and forth across it, you know, and was just moving it that wee bit, or while it was the compaction and she was rolling in the lumps and bumps here, there and everywhere.
It seems that makes the job look good anyway.
So you see the way your steering axle's highlighted green there?
Yeah.
Because I heard that's for that mode whenever she'll flick in and out yourself.
Yeah, that's turn automatic. That's just, yeah, and then sure that's me up over 20k now, so that's it locked. If you're in the Strautmann and you're going along, you forget about it. Whenever you came into the pit, when you go in the reverse, you have to lock the steering axle. Like.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. As soon as you engage reverse in the tractor, she knows she's reversing because there's a reversing paper and all on her too. Like.
It takes a bit of getting used to a wagon too. Like there, you know, there's a bit of a tail swing there. People forget about.
Oh, there is. It's a serious tail swing on her. It's not what's in front of you; it's what's behind you too. Like.
Yes. So much grass that wagon hold. Like what cube is she?
It's just 40 cube, but then whatever you add on the yellow bits on the top.
Yeah.
It's just 42 cube apparently. So Pottinger said anyway, so.
But then it's not the same as just filling into it with a harvester, like, because you're packing that grass all the time.
Yeah.
And what about the grass that comes out of the other end? Like I'm sure you've worked with a harvester at times too. Like whenever you see the grass lying on the clamp, what grass is better for the cows? Because like it's the age-old debate. You know, it's never short enough, it's never short enough, but in the last couple of years, boys want it slightly longer now too for the cows rooming.
It's personal preference. Everybody has their own opinions, so it still goes into the pit and the cows still seem needed. It's not like a wagon's new thing, like. They've been out this long time.
Year on year, it varies, but like last year, we probably lifted about 6,000, bit over 6,000 acres. Self-propelled route, I would doubt it. If we lift a stone in one of them, like £100 will fix it. If you lift a stone or something with a harvester, it's just the bills scare me, and the way we're doing so much multi-cut, 4 and 5 cut stuff, it's light cuts. It suits us. 3 wagons, you'd need to buy a right harvester to lift what we lift in a day. And the bother is that we can send 2 wagons and a shovel to one man, and one wagon and a tractor and buck rake as a telehandler to another man in a day, and that's 2 customers happy. If you changed all those and bought 1 harvester, you'd be going to one man and not getting the other man to the evening, and he'd be upset. Whereas it leaves it flexible, and if we get a silo near full, we can leave one wagon to finish it off and send 2 on, or it just works. It suits what I'm doing. It doesn't necessarily suit what somebody else is doing, but
It's kind of a smaller sort of team compared to the likes of someone who's running a self-propelled with about 5 or 6 silage trailers.
Aye, but I don't know why there'd been any less grass gathered up in a day. Must have been 12:30 we came over here. So what's that, 4-5 hours? There was a right mountain of stuff in front of you there. Like. That's not all short draw either. There's
a lot longer.
There's a couple of long draw, but it's not too. Like.
you can make good silage with a self-propelled, you make good silage with a wagon. It's horses for courses. Like, we'll probably not go and take on somebody that's putting in 500 acres of first cut. You'll want your 990 class, and you can put a fleet of trailers on, but for the guys we're doing, 200, 250 acres, it suits. The limit in a lot of places is the silos, and people sort of like the flexibility that if their silo is nearly getting beat, well, we can usually send the wagon on and leave a shovel, so he's more time to get it in and get it finished off. Whereas if you have a self-propelled, well, here you had to keep her lit and get it sorted out, you know what I mean? Funny, we actually asked a couple of customers just for the crack, if we had a self-propelled and we had wagons, what would they do? And the both of them said, oh, here would probably just get you to, unless it was bad weather and end up in a big hulge of stuff that you wanted chopped, fine, that's the only bother. If you get grass stemmy to the wagons, it doesn't chop as well as a harvester, but that young grass we're lifting, chop it well, like.
So she adjusts her drawbar height, she packs herself, you can fill her in automatic, she can lock the axles, she tightens belts herself.
Yeah. Oh no.
What exactly do you do then?
Just stare here, If we can get away with it, put the GPS on, like. Whenever you go into the field with the harvester man's choosing where he's taking the trailer.
Yes.
Whenever you go into the field and there's steep bits around, you have to choose where you're going yourself.
Yes.
You're under yourself, like. You're making the call. There's a lot more to it than just getting into the field and dropping the pickup and lifting the grass, like.
Well, why is there not more wagons in the country?
They're very dear too, like. But see, once you get into the heavy crops, like, it's just, it fills that quick. You'll put enough trailers on to keep the harvester moving.
Okay.
But once the wagons are filled, you have to go back to the yard, like.
See here, this is what I mean about the 3 wagons.
Where did they all come from there all of a sudden, like?
It's not like it's a half load to come in with. Here, if you get excited, you're beat sometimes.
I think they must do it on purpose, just for a wee
You
rest.
think so, wouldn't you? Like?
For a wee rest. How often in a day does that happen, like?
Probably about every 3rd load. I'm not going to lie to you and say, it's maybe once or twice a day. That it happens right and often.
I like class stuff. We're on 2 sets of class butterflies and a set of class double mowers. Those doubles that I have, the back mower's 2011 and the front's 2013. They've mowed gates, and I think we mowed a land leveler with the back mower one day, and here they seem to stick it well, and the butterflies it all seems to be good, and we're on 2 class rakes as well, so I kind of like that stuff.
You haven't gone to the new rake then?
No, I haven't gone on it. I'd like to drive it, like, but I'll get my chance out in it sometime. So.
I hear Darragh's very precious about her.
Aye, he would be, aye. And then John Deere's too. He seems to turn into a bit of a John Deere fanatic from what I see, like.
The new 6M is very different to the old one, but then she's auto power and she has guidance and stuff in her and auto steer. So the last one was just an auto quad with no Green Star or no Isobus. That's Isobus in it, and you can configure the Isobus to the joystick and put the wagon functions on it. So she's fairly different.
There's some difference between that one and the older end. That there's something different, like for all the age difference that was in them, That there'll scalp a lot of men. A lot of men will be taking them there now. There was one night I went mowing in the other end. There's nothing wrong with mowing. But the place I was in now wasn't probably the best place to go mowing. Between objects and rush and dock and thistles and whatever else. And you needed about 5 arms on your right hand side. Between changing gear and trying to watch what you were doing and lifting mowers over objects. And I think it's just a nice looking factor of that.
I think I'll grow them. It's just the cab does look a bit small in comparison, like.
Aye, but that was I was laying up on her. Like, if you probably put Nathan in her there, it probably looks like a massive cab.
Yeah.
She's not just like the Fendt out of all of them are the best, you know, for integrating all that Isabus stuff onto the joystick and stuff. Well, that's my opinion, but no, she's a good tractor. Seems to go well. Happy with her.
I'll drive anything, but here, if I was to go and get into one to go and do something, I would get into one of the events. You get in there, hook it on, select your profile, and away you go. You don't have to start worrying about things to change or speeds the thing up a bit. For what power they have and everything, like they're a right compact tractor. Like
the Wagon's no bother to them, like.
The odd one or two wee place of right and steep, you just can't put as big of a load on, but you have to compromise somewhere in life, don't you?
Yeah.
And it takes a right bit of horsepower to pull that thing too, you know, even her empty.
Yes, it's over 10 tonne.
Aye, empty. And then you take that grass into account and that packed in.
Aye, it's just a right weight now. I think them machines are rated for 400 or 500 horsepower, like, so we're really in the low end of what they're rated for. Like.
Those aren't that hard to drive. There's about 2.5 ton of weight difference in themselves. So obviously, if you have an extra 2.5 ton to drag up the field, that's probably not helping. But the Strautmann probably is a wee bit easier driven than those. If I was building the ideal machine, I'd probably take the. That's a hard one. The running gear off the Pottinger is really good, so suspension there's never any issues. The knife system on the Strautmann, I would say, is better, because if she hits a stone or something, the knife trips out and you have to reset it. But I like the belt drive. It seems to be a good job, you know, so time will tell. I haven't had any driveline issues with the Strautmann, but you'd always worry about a gearbox or something like that. And Pottinger have looked after us very well. You're only like a call away from somebody like a Pottinger employee, so if the dealer's been fantastic as well. Not that here, Ray's, the Strautmann dealer, get on well with them too, but James is beside us and he's 10 minutes from us. They're both good here. The next time I might very well buy Strautmann, you know, it's not set in stone that one or the other I'm happy enough with.
So buck raking the grass, then what else do you do the rest of the year?
I suppose I've done quite a bit of the drilling. Whenever I worked in England, I've done a right bit of the drilling.
What's the drilling outfit here?
One of them Fendts, 900 710s on her, and a Lemkin solitaire 8 3 metre, and stone grape in the front for the rockeries that we go till sometimes. Here, drilling's the same in every country. It's just here you tend to do it in a lot smaller fields. Whenever I started drilling, I sort of started
up top.
I'm not going to say the top. I'm not going to say the top and work my way down, because that's not fair. The first drilling outfit I drilled with was an 8RX and a 6 metre horse trail drill.
Well, that's fair.
So like that was like.
But then that just wouldn't work over here.
No,
so.
You were probably going into an average field size of 60, 70 acres, whereas that's a farm that size over here. Like.
Yeah.
And then I just sort of took notion that that's sort of one of the things I wanted to do, like.
Darragh being Darragh, just lets you tear away anywhere.
I suppose if you show him, you can do it. I suppose Darragh does a bit of drilling too, and obviously sure Neil will have to be stuck in it as well.
In September 2023, we diversified a bit and started Clover Agri Sales, which is a joint business between me and Neil, specialising in a lot of slurry equipment really, and selling a bit of stuff, servicing a bit of stuff. Keeps us busy in the winter time. It's an interesting wee avenue we've gone down with it. It's doing well. Neil was in sales doing other stuff and he was helping me part-time. He was going to go into something else and I said, here, if you're going into something else, sure, why don't we, between us, start and do a bit of sales. It has gone well now and shifting a good wee bit of stuff, and I suppose Neil had a lot of contacts from his previous sales roles. Neil does the most of the selling. I get involved, like there's customers that I know through the contract and they buy bits and pieces off me. So yeah, Neil loves being on the phone selling stuff and Facebook messaging people.
Would you encourage many boys to go over to England and do that kind of thing?
Yes. Yeah, every day of the week. A completely different way of farming over there. that arable farm I worked at, like, that was 4,000 acres, and you know, like, there was wheat pushing 10.5, 11 tons a hectare. They were solely concentrated on growing grain and grain storage. Everything had to be 100% with them. Like, you know, there was never anyone in a panic. Everything had to just be done right. I guess another thing in England, variable seed rates, variable sowing rates. How many men here do that? How many men go out and sow crop in the 3-acre field in the corner of the yard and say, aye, in that corner I want 20 kilos extra on than this other corner? The way I see it, that's the way farming's going. A whole lot of them English outfits love men from here, women from here going over for we work. Like, you know, they struggle every bit as much as people over here to get staff. Another thing, you're never shy of getting the responsibility over there. As long as you can show you're worth it, they'll let you do it. You know, like, you're letting a man from Northern Ireland who'd never drilled before let loose and go and drill 3,500 acres in his first year doing it. Like, how many men you know here that has never left home and then they expect their man to do everything for them? Hey, you can't be backwards forever.
No.
I see probably a good bit of potential for growth with Clover. With new products and different bits and pieces happening that end, we'll definitely push it on. Contracting wise here, we've been growing since we started, so I'll keep on at it. If more opportunities and more work comes along, we'll certainly try and facilitate it, but I'm happy with where we're at the minute and what we're doing. If there's customers on, like, I'll panic and lose sleep over it. It's just the weather. The weather's usually the crucial thing, always battling us, like, but. And here, nobody wants to say it, but in the back of my head, I'm thinking, are we going to have a drought and no second cut? And then it turned wet, and then, here. If you thought too much about it, it would put your head away. If you could give my younger self any advice, it'd be probably just don't get so stressed about everything, just chill out a bit. But then here at the same time, you have to have that sense of urgency to get the work done when people want. And if I hadn't had that sense of urgency, this all mightn't have worked. We'll take it as it comes, we'll get as much done as we can when we can, and we'll worry about that when it happens.